Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, as far as that goes, how about name, image, likeness coming to college sports?
Yes.
Players are already signing up with teams. Barstool Sports, have you seen that, Hunter?
Yeah, I love it.
I randomly said, hey, just call me, I'll sponsor you. And so they've started sponsoring.
Wouldn't it just be nice to be able to say, you know what, I've got that much money, and a whim just popped up in my head because he literally was like, I just thought of this. We'll sponsor you. Just put it out on there. He's like, just reach out to us. We'll filter through. We'll see if you're a good candidate. We'll sponsor you. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, fine. Yeah, that sounds like
it's
fun.
about time to make a little something. I mean, when you got Dabo Sweeney making over $10 million a year.
I think it's okay because it's not.
I just gave you a full ride scholarship. Yeah.
Not every sport is a full ride scholarship.
You can
Terry.
and you could work at Arby's and make $25,000 a year. So I mean, is what they're getting. Yeah, but it basically
it's more than $25,000 for a full scholarship, Tom.
$25,000 for 1 year.
Appalachia's
is the average.
like $9,000 tuition.
It all depends on where you're going.
Well, it's the ballpark.
If you're going to Alabama, if you're going to Clemson, if you're going to a place
is it
like
in-state
that,
or is it out of
it's
state?
a whole lot more.
Terry.
You have to fact check here.
I am
$13,000 for Clemson tuition.
Like, listen, Terry, you're looking only at the sports that even allow you to have full scholarships. The smaller sports, sometimes they're half scholarships you're sharing with somebody, or it's a year-to-year scholarship.
All right, watch this. Got you. So here's what I like about it. One of the major things I like about it. Tom, where's Kewan Pryor going to college?
He's at Catawba.
All right, where's that at exactly?
Isn't that Salisbury?
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah,
it is.
Okay. So I called the Pryors if they're listening. Hey guys, I'm gonna send you some What's Up Shopper shirts. When Kewan posts on Twitter or Facebook, or whatever he's in, wear a What's Up Shopper shirt, and I'll buy your pizza every Friday night before games. Hey, Kewan, how about post on social media with my shirt on this week while eating pizza? That pizza company might give me the free pizza. Then, hey, Kewan, guess what? Is your parents, could they come to this weekend? No, I don't know their situation. Could be anybody's situation. Hunter, your parents, while you're at college or you're playing soccer, they ain't got a car breaks down. Any other reason you got, hey, we'll rent you a car. We'll sponsor. Wear our T-shirt, make some posts on Instagram. I'll rent you a car this weekend so you can go see your son play football or wrestling. What if your son's a wrestler or a golfer? How many of these kids, go, especially these weird sports, golf, tennis, whatever, you're going across the country to play, and you say, well, how would I get there? I tell you what, you wear my shirt, make some Instagram post, I'll fly your parents out and watch the golf tournament this weekend. That right there is going to be helpful in the game changer for a lot of these poor kids. I know a lot of people are thinking about the rich kids or the big names, how much money they're going to make.
The big sports.
Right, that's what people are going to be looking at. But as a small business, as us, all these kids going to Cleveland Community College, hey guys, here's some What's Up Shopper shirts when you post. I'll buy your pizza. I'll buy your pizza on Thursday night.
Your warm-up gear can have a Yeti and a KTC.
If you're smart, college student, Hunter, you could go to 7 different restaurants, and on Mondays, I will post wearing your shirt. Everything I post on social media, I'll wear your shirt on Mondays. I'll eat Mondays. I'll show myself eating. All you got to do is give me a free meal on Mondays. You could get a free meal every day of the week just doing that, just wearing T-shirts and posting on the internet. And for poor kids and kids that families that can't get to places, I think that's going to be a big boom, is getting these families and these parents to these competitions. That's what I see when I see it. I know a lot of people see, hey, this guy's going to get paid more than this guy, or this guy's getting paid millions. I'm looking at the people like small business, like I can't afford to pay. I can't afford to buy Trevor Lawrence a T-shirt, but I could get Kewan Pryor one.
Yeah,
and the girls athletes, hate to say it, they're about to get a ton of money. I mean, it's.
Why do you hate to say that?
I don't hate to say it. I'm just. I mean, like, but not for the right reasons. They're not getting it for. They're going to make a ton of money, not because they're good at golf or good at tennis, because they're hot. Just put it that way.
If they're attractive. Well, you got to look at it as the college athletics. I was just listening to a podcast, and he basically flat out said it. He said, if you're an attractive young man or woman, you're gonna make money like a social media person
Anna
would.
Kournikova sucked at tennis, but she made a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. She made a lot more than anybody until the Williams sisters came along, but she made a ton.
Like there's
of
a
money
young lady for LSU that is a part of their gymnastics program. It just so happens she has almost 1 million followers on Instagram. Wow. So yeah, she's gonna make quite a bit of money because that is an influence in and of herself. And it's just, I like it from the aspect of the smaller sports. Like, I get football and basketball. Football is your moneymaker. Everybody knows that, whether it's the high school level or the college level. Football is your moneymaker. So, for those guys to get money, that's going to be nothing. That'll be nothing. But your swim guys aren't really making a lot of money. Your golf team's not making money. And what did I just say? A gymnast, an LSU, like, the podcast made reference. He was like, think about it. All these guys and girls that take part in what's called Olympic sports, and it's really like a solo thing. You don't get really the exposure that you do unless you are on an Olympic stage if you're competing at a college level. So unless you just make it big one day, it doesn't really pay off. Yeah. But here is your opportunity to at least make a little bit of cash on the side if you need it, so you can focus on your craft of whether it is gymnastics or golf.
Everybody needs cash, especially if you're in college.
Listen, everybody needs. Even today, if you got a full-time job, everybody needs a side hustle.
Everybody needs a side hustle. I know I got about 2 or 3 of them, but I don't really have a problem with this. I think that it's a good thing. I'm just, we talked about.
You want to know what I would have a problem with? If it was coming out of the school's pocket.
Yeah, if it's coming out of school's pocket and other kids' tuition or have to pay for it. But it's not. I just want to see if Dabo's going to make good on his promise. Is he going to quit? You going to quit, Dabo? You going to give up that $10 million a year? Were you going to go coach Pop Warner now, Dabo, since they don't get paid?
No, he said he'd go to the pros. He said he'd go to the NFL.
Nobody's going to hire that screaming idiot to coach a pro team.
Okay?
Nobody's going to hire that screaming idiot to coach a pro team. It works in college. It won't work in the pros. It's not going to work in the pros.
Terry, you've been awfully quiet.
I'm just sitting here listening. We would not have a good argument when it come to this, so sometimes it's best to keep your mouth shut.
We know.
Terry, we talk.
Terry,
so you know which side we stand on.
I know which side y'all stand on.
Take your stance.
Terry's stance is basically you're getting enough. In other words, the internet, whatever site this is, collegetuitioncompare.com says everything at the University at Clemson University, everything, food, books, parking, everything would be $129,000. So you divide that by 4 and you get a little bit more than $30,000 a year. Okay, that's less, as pitiful as a starting teacher salary is, that's less than a starting teacher salary.
As of right now, while I'm on probation for my new job, just the probationary period, that's more than I'm making.
Well, I'm on probation. That's getting cut.
Yeah, but the problem...
Not like just the probationary
Why are you
period.
telling everybody that you're on probation?
No, the deal is...
I'm not making a lot of money on probation.
Listen, I said it wrong. New hires, a lot of places, you go through a little probationary period.
You're on a probationary period.
Yeah,
yes,
I didn't mean to. I did.
They got to make sure
Did you notice after I said probation, though, I came back and said my probationary period? I knew how it sounded.
I don't recall you saying that.
Okay.
He did. It was just funny.
I had to think about how it sounded.
I was going to cut that.
All right, go ahead, Terry.
Well, I mean, the whole thing that I keep looking at is, I know y'all have y'all's views and I got mine. It just like he said, it's $129,000, but then we break it back and he said, well, it's only $30,000 a year. Okay, what about the person who's not going to take that 4 years? They're only there for 1, and you know why they're there, so I just gave them a scholarship for something they really did not deserve. Okay, then you furnish your own stuff. If you're going to come here, you make your little money on the side. I'm not going to give you a scholarship, so you're going to have to make it on your own. Okay, then half of this world that's going to college is not going to be able to go because they're not going to be able to do it on their own. So I'm giving them something for you to come here and you to make a name for yourself, but then all of a sudden, you know what? I'm going to give you something extra. Here, go make your money. You know what? That's not how it works.
I'm all for it.
It's not for it. It's not how it works.
I think you and I agree on. I would expand.
What about the people? What about the people who need it?
I mean, I
like a doctor or something. You know what? He's going to do a lot more than this professional player of whatever they're going to be in. He's going to do a lot more for this world than that player.
See, what I say is expand things like the G League and NBA basketball. I don't have a problem with that. Just go straight. You want to get paid, go to the G League. Or you should have that
So,
for
Terry,
football.
you're saying
do something like that.
that KTC should sponsor a doctor.
He's saying that you're taking the college opportunity away from somebody who would become a doctor.
Yes.
That's what
By
he's trying
giving
to
them
say.
that scholarship.
Yes.
He just doesn't articulate it.
That don't make any
most.
sense, though. That's not taking any scholarship.
Yeah, it
We
is
don't
because if this person's at college and they're not going to get a degree.
Stop. Don't go any further. Are you saying that if we would stop college sports right now, then we would have a nation of doctors?
You take it and twist
But you have to
No,
go to the end.
That's not
of
what
it.
he said.
That's not what
Yes,
I
you
said.
said
That's not-
if Zion Williamson gets the scholarship, somebody don't get to go to Duke. That's not how they do. They have those
That's what he's
scholarships.
saying.
That's
But
not what
that's what he's
happens. Just because Zion went to Duke does not mean, Terry, someone didn't get to go to Duke.
He's saying that you're taking resources away from somebody who might become a professional by allowing somebody.
And
Now,
they're
There's
going to
listen,
stay at
two-
the school for 4 years or 8 years.
To Terry's to what Terry's saying, I understand how it can be. I don't understand why they would still give full scholarships to at least basketball players that are only going to be here for like 4 or 5 months. I understand that part.
Is that what you're asking? Is that? I mean, that's
think-
a different argument.
Yeah, because
I mean,
I know what you mean because you're
but-
saying he's not going to finish it out all
So
the
why are
way.
we
So
talking
why
about
are we
that?
giving him a
you
scholarship?
can negotiate that. I, mean,
I don't
that's
understand
not-
why you couldn't
that's
just
not
give him a
hard to do.
half scholarship.
Well, that's not hard to negotiate. If you're getting $2 million from Nike, if Zion's get $2 million from Nike, hey, can you pay for your own classes? That's not hard to do. There's
that you're
plenty
not
of
going to
kids-
go to.
Right.
That you can do.
right.
I mean, you can do that now.
I mean,
because
he
he's
didn't
going
go
to be
to
on
He
a
didn't go
loan
to him
for
anyway. What does it matter if
a
Nike
loan
pays
for
him?
her. Okay, I'm going to bring you here for 1 year, but you don't owe me right now. But when you get to the NBA
That's what already
and
happens.
you've been in it 3 or 4 years, pay us back.
That's what already happens. So
I could see that. I could see how that happens now. Now that it can be out in the open. I mean, why would Nike would benefit so much out of the number one high school recruit going to play college ball and him being sponsored by Nike?
Well, let's turn this conversation a little bit to
I'm
well,
not-
what about all these people in the past that took the money? Should the Fab Five be reinstated? Should Reggie Bush get back his Heisman?
Oh, Reggie Bush
we're
is getting his
hearing all
Heisman
that.
back.
Okay.
We're hearing all that now.
He's getting his Heisman
but
back.
should they? Should we make this retroactive and forgive all the people who did it when it was illegal?
I'm fine. I would be fine with that, just because
if the law was how it was then, none of that should happen.
I would say the rule at the time is the rule that should apply. I mean,
Nah.
So we go back and fix everything way back.
Well, here's the
give
thing.
Ohio State their victory in that bowl
No, I
win over
understand.
Arkansas
Listen,
because they
I
got
understand if we're
they
talking
had to make
murder,
it a win
Tom.
because of tattoos.
I understand if we're talking a murder and we're going DNA, to get somebody out that should have not been in there. I'm with every bit of that.
But you're
But
saying
not this.
The rule at the time was
At the
yeah,
time
at the
was
time.
this.
Nah, listen. It's the past is
Because
the
the
past.
world changes every
do,
day.
If you if you forgive the past, listen, what Reggie Bush did on the field does not, and what maybe the money that he took are two different stories. Just because he took that money did not enhance what he did on the field to earn that Heisman. So the
that's a
Heisman
decent
Trophy
argument, yeah.
should have never been taken away from him to begin with.
Where-
The Fab Five. Just because they all ended up at the same school together, they still had to play together. And what they did, it shouldn't hurt them on the floor.
So everything Boeheim's done, we should give him all his victories back.
What did he do?
I mean, they took victories away from him.
For paying players?
I
What
mean,
was it?
Come on.
Now, the
I
Rick,
mean,
Piti-
I
the
mean,
Rick
I'm
Pitino
just-
thing, I kind of understand.
But they took
because that's
victories
a
away.
brothel. But
There's nothing wrong with a stripper here, a stripper there. That's good, wholesome entertainment for those young men. But I think that's it's an interesting debate. Are you going to go back and forgive the guys because now we're going to make it legal what should have been legal 30, 40 years ago when they were all doing this?
It's funny how the same word is put into play, or is, how am I trying to explain this? Amateurism. What we think of as amateurism when it came to the NCAA here in America is completely different than how it's used in Europe. You could still be considered an amateur, but you could still have made money on yourself. Whereas here, for so long, we still continued an amateur for playing college sports and not getting paid.
And
But the second that you
is-
got some money, you were no longer considered an amateur.
This is why I disagree with Terry, because under Terry's world, all the wealth gets concentrated in a few executives and the people at the top instead of the wealth going to the families that need it. That's why I agree with Kevin, because I understand Terry's purism and all this stuff. And, you're an amateur, but look, somebody's making the money. Somebody's getting the money, and it's not the kids.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
Yeah, they gave you an opportunity to be on national
This is
stage.
what we're arguing about. Let's say I play football and I work at McDonald's. Terry, do you have a problem with a kid playing football and working at McDonald's? Let's say he works 5 hours a day, 25. Let's say he works 25 hours a week. Do you have a problem with that?
If he's got time, because playing football,
But do you
don't have
think he
time.
should be kicked off the team if he worked at McDonald's?
No.
Or do you think his coach should be kicked out of the NCAA if he
No,
works at
because
McDonald's for
he's
25
there and
hours
they're
a week?
paying
Because that's the current
Okay.
rule, yeah.
Now wait a minute. 25
He's
hours.
working.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me finish. If he does that for McDonald's, he's working, right? 25 hours a week. What if McDonald's says, you know what? Instead of your job being a fry cook, I want you to record some commercials for me, and we're going to pay you for 25 hours a week. You record commercials and a T-shirt. That's working for McDonald's. There is no difference. You're just doing a different job for McDonald's. Whether they pay you for making fries or whether they pay you for wearing a T-shirt on TV. Terry, that's the line we're arguing about, and that's the line the NCAA has. Is that why are we arguing about what you do for McDonald's as opposed to whether you get paid for them? If I get paid for McDonald's to wear a T-shirt and play college football, that don't have anything to do with my performance on the field. That doesn't make me a professional football player. It makes me a professional spokesman for McDonald's is all it does. It does not make me a professional football player. To be a professional football player, and I'm going to tell you how this works. You have to be a professional football player in the NFL. This is why, look, nobody's thinking about over to golf. Move over there. Those people cannot take the name, image, likeness. The NCAA golfers cannot because of the PGA Tour and the national golf rules. They have rules set that way that determines whether they're pro or amateur.
Mm-hmm.
These other sports and other things don't have.
I was just thinking about how you have the difference between like the PGA Tour and like a pro-am.
Right. So the golf guys, so the golf association and the teams right now are getting together with their lawyers throughout the NCAA trying to figure out what they can and cannot do because they want to be able to be sponsored by golf balls. Titleist is wanting to sponsor all these teams. So it's not just the player, not just the team, individual players. It's going to be a whole team. So these golf ballers and teams will be supplied golf balls by Titleist and other things like that. So that's what they're looking at is whether or not those can. So it's not just football or basketball or baseball. These individual sports, whether or not, like you were talking about with the Olympics, why can't I be a Nike athlete and still go to school? And that's where I was trying to make the argument about the McDonald's. Either way, you're getting paid by McDonald's. Why does it matter whether you make the fries or you sit in an office and do office work?
Yeah, it's the same thing as NASCAR. That's how come they have the Cokes and the energy drinks and stuff like that out in front of them, because that's part of their, you drink this whether you like it or not, but you need to drink it.
I pointed that out
because
to my
they're
mom.
giving you a sponsorship and we're giving you money.
I did. She was like, it was when they were doing the announcements before the All-Star game. They all came out with the hat on or whatnot because it was in Texas. But she was like, what? She was like, man, he must be thirsty sitting there with that drink in his hand. I'm like, no, that's a shout out for his sponsor. He might not be thirsty at all. But they said, when you walk out here, young man, say I'm Coca, you better have it
Michael
in your hand.
Jackson never drank Pepsi, but he always had to have a Pepsi
Yeah.
center in a commercial.
So Master P, have you seen the story on his son?
Yes.
Master P's son
Yeah.
at Tennessee State signed an endorsement deal recently. $2 million.
See, I think that's
Really?
I think this is there are gonna be times
Because he has
where
so
I'm
many
like,
followers
"Eesh."
on Instagram because of his dad and stuff. He's getting $2 million. Tennessee State. So we talk about how much would a Duke player be worth?
See,
I
that's
could use $2 million, Terry.
See,
How
that's
about
what I'm
you?
saying.
I could use
There
it.
are going to be moments like that where you see an egregious number like that, and just it's
that's
gonna
what
it's gonna
bother
be
people.
tough for his teammates to just sit there in the locker room and be like,
But
He got $2 million and he's never going to be on a spotlight on national television.
That's okay.
I mean, he didn't need the money no ways. His dad was Master
That's what I'm
P.
saying.
Terry-
I'm with that.
Terry-
I'm with that 100%.
Terry, what you're not understanding is how the internet working. If you get 1 million views on TV, that's valuable to you, Terry.
Yeah,
Reinhardt.
I'm with you. I
But
understand.
he's
all
getting 2 million on the internet, which is twice as much as what's valuable to you.
that. Yeah, I'm with. I'm
So
with that.
they're not. That's what they get. That's what they're getting paid for. Again, some people are going to make a lot of money. A lot of people are. I'm really concerned. I like the fact that I could, as KTC Broadcasting, one of these small schools, I could pay you guys to wear a T-shirt, feed you pizza on Fridays. Is that a bad thing to feed a poor? All these kids at Cleveland Community College that come up here and played for the Yetis, a lot of them from Florida. Will that not be beneficial to them? Hey, how about you Florida guys? All y'all wear What's Up Shopper T-shirts. I'll buy you guys a pizza party every Friday night. How much money would they save and be able to do on other things? Gas and get back to Florida. And Terry me.
Tom, I know what I'm going to do from now on. While I'm umpiring, when I call a strike, I'm going to go into a dance move doing a strike and see how many people follow me. They'll be on there, and there'll be people giving me likes.
My guess would be 0.
Oh,
but I mean, you could,
Terry, you know
try
what
that.
though? I
mean,
agree.
come on,
Green
Tom.
light.
Terry,
Green
Terry,
light.
I'll break
Terry,
it down.
I
Terry,
green light
strike.
that. You know?
Two.
Terry, if it works, let me know.
Terry.
Let me know, because I'm averaging about $60-$70 a game. I could use a little more money. I could shake my quote unquote money
Yeah,
maker.
see? And we'll all start making it.
Terry, if I bought you Wendy's before, or no, never mind, you live at. If I bought you Missing's Kitchen before you left your house, for every game you went to umpire, as long as you wore my shirt to the field and got dressed afterwards, would you do it?
You ain't got to pay for it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'd like to see.
Look how quick he sells out.
I got to
Tom.
see the contract.
I'd like to see the reaction
see
of
the
the
contract.
coaches if I had like a KTC T-shirt over my
Listen,
chest
but-
protector.
Right,
Hey,
right
I'm
up
today.
until
But
game, right
now-
up until it's time to play. You take it.
But
off.
listen, it does make sense because if you look at every sports team that is in college, they either have like one of these 3 major T-shirt brand companies, these clothing companies, on their jerseys. It's either going to be Nike, Air Jordan, either one. I put those are synonymous. That's Nike, Adidas,
Yep, that's a state.
or Under Armour. That's how it is. Now you might have some of the smaller schools that can't quite afford that, but for the most part, these bigger schools, you know good and well, they get some kickbacks or they get a lot of cool stuff. If you're Nike, you're going to get a bunch of cool jerseys out of Nike.
Yeah.
So why can't say for free? So why can't the kid get something as well? You know, the school's gonna get it, and they kind of just supply it. But why can't the kid get something out of it?
And it's not
either?
just the school getting it; it's the wealthy
They
people
are
at the
getting
school. All these look up any public universities at the publicist salaries. Look at what these people are making. Give me a break. Going to give these kids a free slice of pizza and complain about that when these people making millions of dollars. Dabo making $11 million. Give me a break. I don't even want to hear it. I just don't want to hear the crying. Give me a break.
Dabo with 11
Yeah.
million.
And actually, Tom, this is since we're still on college. This is kind of it's unfortunate why he was here, but my family on my dad's side, they have Burke Mortuary in Maiden and in Newton. I'm not trying to give them free advertising, but the offensive coordinator for Ohio State is from the Maiden area.
Didn't realize that.
He is. And unfortunately, his father passed. But he came in this weekend, and my cousin Bradley got to meet him and was talking to him. And so I thought that would be pretty cool for you
That
knowing
would
that
be
the
cool,
offensive coordinator is actually from the
Did not
Maiden
realize that.
area. And he's actually the highest paid offensive coordinator now in the NCAA.
Oh, you got to make some
So-
money working for Ohio State.
Yeah. I hear he might also be one of the most sought after offensive coordinators to be a head coach in the college football.
That
too,
that
so.
happens with Ohio State offensive coordinator. Like
Well, I
Tom
think it
Herman.
happens if you have a good offensive coordinator anywhere, Tom. I should have never brought it up now. 'cause it's
Kevin-
Ohio State, but
Yeah, it's still Kevin Wilson, who I believe wasn't he the head coach at Indiana at one time?
he was.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. His name
Sure
escaped
was.
me there for a second, but
Yep.
yeah, he was the head
Yep.
coach at Indiana.
Yep.
All right. Any other thoughts on the name, image, likeness? Any other college state getting screwed or any of that? We good?
but